The first case arrived quietly. It did not announce itself with sirens. It began with a small ache. A man in Maryland felt a persistent throb in an old wound. He had recently returned from Central America. The wound, once a minor cut, refused to heal. It felt strange. It felt alive. He visited a local clinic, bewildered by the growing discomfort. The doctors were puzzled at first. The wound was inflamed, swollen, and weeping a foul-smelling fluid. Standard antibiotics did nothing to stop its progression. The flesh around the cut began to look chewed, eroded from within. It was a sight that belonged in a nightmare, not a suburban medical office. Then, a doctor looked closer. Using a magnifying lens, they saw something move deep inside the lesion. It was not an infection in the typical sense. It was an infestation. Tiny white worms, no bigger than grains of rice, were twisting in the man's living tissue. They were burrowing, feeding, and multiplying. The diagnosis came back from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on August 4, 2025. It was a confirmation of a deep biological fear. The New World screwworm had found its first human host on American soil in over half a century. The parasite was here. It had breached the border. The silent invasion had begun. The news did not break through official channels. It seeped out through whispers and unofficial networks. State veterinarians and cattle industry insiders heard the rumors before any public announcement was made. The federal government, the very institution meant to protect the public from such threats, remained silent. When pressed for information, the CDC cited patient privacy laws. They deferred questions. They built a wall of silence around the case. This secrecy created a vacuum, and into that vacuum rushed fear and speculation. The silence was not reassuring. It felt like a cover-up. It felt like the authorities knew something terrible and were afraid to say it out loud. The patient in Maryland became a symbol. He was no longer just a man with a horrific wound. He was patient zero of a potential epidemic. His suffering was a preview of what could come. The treatment for his condition was brutal and archaic. It involved the manual extraction of each larva, one by one. Hundreds of them had to be pulled from the wound, a painstaking process that is both physically and psychologically scarring. This was not a disease that could be cured with a simple pill. This was a physical violation by a living organism. It was a predator consuming its host from the inside out, and it had arrived in the United States. The screwworm fly is not a remarkable insect at first glance. It looks like a common housefly, but with a dark metallic blue-green body and orange eyes. Its appearance is deceptive. This is not a harmless pest. It is a vector for a monstrous parasite. The female fly seeks out open wounds on any warm-blooded animal. It does not matter if the wound is a small paper cut, a tick bite, or a surgical incision. Any break in the skin is an open door. She lays a mass of up to 400 eggs on the edge of the wound. Within a day, the eggs hatch, and the horror truly begins. The larvae are the true monsters. Their name, screwworm, is terrifyingly accurate. Their bodies are ringed with sharp, spine-like ridges.